to their families. And we're just two individuals, and along with the help from other people in the community. So when people are bad rapping people in our community, showing intimidation, they're forgetting the fact that there's so much good that is happening right here. This isn't just about complaining. This is about a town that wants to come together to make their town better and to make their community better, and so we can all coexist in harmony. So there may be a few more questions. Frank, would you like to follow up?
No, that's fine. Let's keep going with the questions, folks.
I have a question.
Red one.
So I don't know if you guys ever saw the Nextdoor post, but there was something on Nextdoor about Mike. He actually went out into the homeless encampment right by the pavilion, and he actually went out with a bunch of people, cleared the whole thing out, cleaned up all of the trash, actually helped out with all of the people when there was a huge issue with all of the flooding, when we had all of the major storms and everything. And he went out with a good amount of people and actually cleaned everything up, got them all dried up, and he did a huge job. So a big applause though for Mike, because that was a really big thing. He went out there when no one else was out there and doing that and making sure that they were all safe, and that was a big thing. So I just want to say thank you so much, Mike, for doing that, because
Thank you. And I'm definitely going to vote for you now. Okay. It's a running joke. Okay, who's got the mic?
Okay, I have a question. So I like to, I live in Fairfax. I like to look at other towns and what their building codes are on their planning commissions. Why did they make those decisions? Do you guys get any feedback of we're following Sacramento and the laws, and what's the guy's name? Wiener? Okay, so he's the one who makes these laws about building things fast, building things big. Oh, it's the town council says it's not our fault, it's this Scott Wiener guy. He passes these laws, we're just following the law. Okay, so all of a sudden we got a 7-story building with ministerial approval and all that. So I went and I looked at San Anselmo. They only allow 3 stories, full stop, 3 stories. They're the same laws from Sacramento that are being applied all over, all the towns. It's these folks, I'm sorry, that you sit up with that have an agenda to do this, and they saw an opening and they ran with it, and now they basically are telling us to suck it up. And I don't do that. So I think everybody here needs to start going to the planning commission and saying, why did you think this was okay? Go to the town council meetings, even if you can't make them change their mind. Say, what makes you think that our housing numbers are any different from San Anselmo? Can't you talk to those guys? Is this so wrong?
Hello? Oh, there we go. It's working now. Okay, it's delayed. What's interesting is Scott Wiener is a senator. He represents San Francisco and a portion of San Mateo County. And I was looking at Yimby Law today, and he's one of the heroes of Yes in My Backyard. He carries legislation for them. And when you look at his funding comes from people who make money out of building those kinds of structures. That's who's financing his campaigns. And of course, we've got folks in Sacramento, threatening the cities. What's interesting is last time I was on the town council, I had written a number of ordinances over the years, and one of them was to protect affordable housing, existing affordable housing here in Fairfax. And a developer bought the 27-unit apartment building up there behind Manor School, and came in and applied for 27 condos. And I had written an ordinance that said you cannot convert existing affordable housing into condominiums. It was an anti-condominium law. And we got sued. Fairfax got sued. Fairfax turned down that application, and Fairfax was sued. And what was interesting is I was sued personally. There was a knock on my door one night, and the process server was there and handed me a summons and a complaint. They wanted 7 figures from me because the developer lost that kind of money when he couldn't convert those apartments to for sale condominiums. And what's interesting is when we went to a closed session at the council of the lawsuit, the council said, Frank, you know, you wrote that ordinance. You're going to have to defend yourself. We're not defending you. So what I did is I went to the California Attorney General's office, and they defended Fairfax all the way to the California Supreme Court. And Fairfax prevailed. And there's case law that says that existing community, a general law city, can protect its existing affordable housing by such means as what we did here in Fairfax. So at one time we had Sacramento on our side, and over the years, Sacramento's no longer on our side. You know, 3 times Fairfax has been to the Supreme Court, and 3 times the Attorney General's office providing us an Assistant Attorney General and a Deputy Attorney General to represent Fairfax to the courts, all the way to the Supreme Court, and we prevailed each time. So there's been a big change in Sacramento, and you know, we're kind of on our own here. It's interesting what's going to happen if what's being proposed for the 7 downtown sites, workforce housing. We're going to be the high-rise housing capital of the Ross Valley.
Yeah, we
You're not going to, San Anselmo won't allow it, Ross won't allow it, Larkspur won't allow it, but why is Fairfax allowing? That's the question.
That's the big question.
Okay, we have till 8:30 to finish our talk, so there's probably can't answer every question, but who wants to ask a question? Okay.
I don't need a mic. Hi, Adrian, Claus Circle. I'm a newbie. I've only been here 20 years. And this is the first year I've actually paid attention because I've always assumed my vote was going to put somebody in place that is going to do what I want. And it's worked that way for the 20 years till this year. So my question is to these guys and the past council members, isn't there somebody above the town council that we can appeal to? Because this seems like total BS and like corrupt, and just to the point where I feel like we have to get somebody above what us all signing this petition, because they're going to find a way to throw it out. Let's be real. They're going to find a way to like stop us. So how do we get above them?
State Attorney General's office.
How do we get above the town council? Who holds the town council accountable?
So the people of Fairfax elect their town council members, and they can unelect them.
Which is what we're trying to do.
That's
but,
what they're trying to do that now.
to vote.
but
Yes.
Hi, folks. Guy
so
from
there's no.
San Anselmo.
Yeah, can you please like address, like, is there anybody above the town council?
No, the buck stops with the town council.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I didn't know, so that's what I was trying to find out.
Yeah, it stops with the town council. And so hopefully your council members are going to represent you and do the right thing.
Not if it's 3v2.
So far they haven't.
Right.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank and Mike and everybody. Interesting in San Anselmo, though we don't have the skyscrapers, we do have 833 units that we're supposed to provide for some reason. Our town council, in their appeal to these numbers that the state gave, cited the state constitution, said in one sentence, this mandate is a violation of the state constitution Section 11 and Article 7, I'm just saying that from memory, of police powers. Think about it, that's exactly right. You have no safety. It's a complete violation of the state constitution. Number two, it's a violation of the federal constitution of redress of grievances. The state is out of compliance. The people, we have to find a way to say, I wish, maybe a good lawyer, just file the lawsuit. I don't know why they haven't, but maybe there's some towns in California. I'm sure there may be somebody else who can answer that, but that's the fact, though, that it is unconstitutional. And I'm thinking of Lou, too, because he had a newspaper 30, 40 years ago, and I keep thinking about a local newspaper that had one page, like a gazette type of thing, one page for every town, like maybe once a month, or just to keep every town, with like maybe one individual for each town who was like, be the person to like, say, this is what our council is up to now, or whatever, to keep us there, because we're not getting it from the IJ, or, God bless them, but whatever. Anyways, that's,
Thank you.
I don't know, the
Thank
question.
you, Guy. Good
Oh,
idea.
so actually, what happened down south, five charter cities did sue the state over Senate Bill 9, a housing law, saying it did not apply to them. They were a charter city and it was unconstitutional. They went to LA County Superior Court, and after a long trial, the judge ruled in favor of the 5 charter cities. And the judge said 2 things. He said, first of all, it was a violation of their rights, the charter cities' rights. The state was forcing an unfunded state mandate on those cities without paying the cost to implement whatever the state wanted, and he ordered that the state pay their attorney fees. And the state had to pay $271,000 in lawyer fees to those 5 charter cities. They actually won. Attorney General Bonta, Rod Bonta, has appealed that, and it's waiting an appellate court trial down there in Southern California right now. So 5 charter cities did beat the state on a housing law, and they were awarded their costs and fees.
But still on appeal.
So, we keep hearing, oh, no city has won, it's the state wins every time. No, the state doesn't win every time.
Yeah, Ross.
So we're going to see what happens with the appellate court down in Southern California.
Mike McGuire, our pal.
Years ago, I've been in Fairfax since 60-something. Years ago, I was on the design review board. They took it off. Then I was, I think, 3 terms at least on the Affordable Housing Committee. They hardly ever met, and they took it off. And we needed affordable housing. And the last 2 councils voted against that. The other thing Frank's busy. I do remember years ago, before COVID, people from the town council went around to look at available parcels to build individual houses, and ADUs would be included.
Yes.
They did nothing after they looked around. Nothing, which is why we got here now. And this council needs to be revamped and have people who can really work for us on this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Mark Bell. I've lived here mostly since 1972, 71, something like that.
Stand up, Mark.
I'll stand up.
So, Mark.
Well, there's more people than at a town council meeting.
Yeah, took to that, man.
First off, the state auditor's office has said that the numbers used for the mandates, for the housing mandates, the data does not support the findings by a vast majority.
What?
Therefore, the mandates actually are based on fiction.
Faulty information.
Exactly. Secondly, there is no constitution anywhere that I know of which says that your general population can be subjected to death because you need to build a 7-story, 243 unit, unaffordable housing monstrosity, let alone 7 of them. Let's talk about civility. I don't know if you've noticed at the council meetings, but we have Mayor Blash, we have Vice Mayor Hellman, we have Council Member Kohler, we have Mr. Girangelli, and we have Mr. Egger. They don't rate being called council members.
Oh my God.
It's not Council Member Girangelli, Council Member Egger. No, it's Mr.
What?
You see these signs for silence sexism. Resist the recall. I thought part of what women were hoping for would be to be judged on their merits. Because we should all be judged on our merits. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what color you are. I don't care how many tattoos or body piercings you have. If you're competent and you're fulfilling my needs in a competent manner, I'm all for you. You need computer help? Find an 8-year-old. Who cares whether they're whatever. So let's look at the merits. Safety, with what's happening with the illegal squatters. Failure.
The roads, baby.
Let's look at the roads. How's that working for you? Failure. How about diverting funds that should be addressing things that we need? Fiscal irresponsibility. So another failure. Housing for the people who need it, support for something reasonable, failure. Our own town staff, as far as the public works, those guys don't even make enough to qualify to live in the low income that supposedly is coming. But we have enough money to spend an extra $50,000 a year on street sweeping, but we can't fix the roads. We've seen the rates go up for the garbage dramatically. Amazingly, one of the main council members now works for them. How does that figure into civility?
Corruption.
Anyway, I'll pass this along, but you get the drift. Somebody said, thank you, you supply a lot of common sense. I was really shocked.
All right.
Let me just quickly say, we actually had our own street sweeper from 1964 until last year. And the one they have broke down and needed some work, but the person that was the operator of it was let go under some very strange circumstances.
Had to get a
the town council signed a $450,000 contract with a garbage company for street sweeping. That's for 3 years. And so I don't know if you've seen a street sweeper on your street. I never see a street sweeper on my street, and I wonder what we're getting for it's $150,000 a year. I'm not sure what we're getting for that. But anyway, that's what happened to our street sweeper.
I got a mic. Thank you, Frank. Good evening, everyone. My name is Candace Neal Ricker. I am a born and raised Fairfaxian. And I want to start with just thanking Mike and Frank for coming back on this council and trying to help all of us. They didn't need to do this in their lives at this point, and they came back because of how much of a need we have in our town right now. You know, there's a lot of things not going right. Not just 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 5, or 6. The housing element is a really hard thing to tackle, and I understand the difficulties the council has faced regarding this. But $1.24 million in housing consultants, when the average is 200 to 300,000 across the state, is a pretty egregious amount. to use? What could have $1 million done in our town in the last 3 years?
Fix the streets.
Let's start with the streets, yeah. Ours is personally almost a 4-wheel drive access only now at this point.
Monte Vista.
Yes, that's correct. You know, I want to thank all of you for being here tonight, for caring enough about your town to come out tonight. And this is the reason. Take a look around and take a look at all your neighbors. People have grown up here. People have lived here a long time. People have paid taxes for 60 years. I mean, there's a reason we care about our town and how it's run. And I think it's really, really important right now to take a look at what's going on. This is not just affecting Fairfax or California or the United States. This is international levels of housing crises, developer greed. There's all sorts of layers here. And I would just ask all of you to really consider why we are at this point right now. To realize what we're fighting for. We're fighting for our town that we love so much. Look at these beautiful redwoods we're sitting in right now. And how lucky if any of us have ever been here before. There's people all over the world that would kill for this moment. We're blessed, and we're blessed, and we are blessed, and we are fighting for what we are blessed for. I ask every single one of you to consider why we're at a recall. It's not out of any desire to be at this level. It's hard, and it's negative, and it's about processing a lot of negative energy to hopefully coming out to a positive outcome for our town. And that is where we are at right now. Regarding intimidation, bullying, harassment, or fearing your town council members, I would ask every single one of you to consider what the hell we're doing. We're a town of less than 10,000 people. We should all know our neighbors to some degree, or at least people we see on the streets, or our friends, or in our bars, or our movie cinemas, or whatever, baristas, everywhere. Why are we here? And I ask every single one of you to consider that. This is not a personal attack on Mayor Blash or Vice Mayor Hellman in any way. This is asking people to do better for their town. This is why people like Mike and Frank have stepped up at their positions to step up for our town. Here it is for all of you. Please let everyone you know what's going on. We are in the last 12 days of our signature collection, and I ask every one of you to sign, fight for your town, bring this to a vote, let democracy do its best. And for the love of God,